Welcome back again to our evening broadcast of Sri Aurobindo Savitri. We are through verses 275 through 280 in Canto 8, The World of Falsehood, in Book 2, the Book of the Travel of the Worlds. Around him grew the terror of a world of agony followed by worse agony, and in the terror a great wicked joy, glad of one's own and others' calamity. Their thought and life were a long punishment, the breath a burden and all hope a scourge, the body a field of torment, amassed unease. Repose was awaiting between pang and pang. This was the law of things none dreamed to change. A hard, somber heart, a harsh, unsmiling mind, rejected happiness like a cloying sweet. Tranquility was a tedium and ennui. Only by suffering life grew colorful. It needed the spice of pain, the salt of tears. If one could cease to be, all would be well. Else only fierce sensations gave some zest, a fury of jealousy burning the gnawed heart, the sting of murderous spite, and hate, and lust, the whisper that leads to the pit, and treachery stroke through vivid spots on the dull aching hours. To watch the drama of infelicity, the writhing of creatures under the harrow of doom, and sorrow's tragic gaze into the night, and horror and the hammering heart of fear were the ingredients in time's heavy cup that pleased unhelped to enjoy its bitter taste. Of such fierce stuff was made up life's long hair. These were the threads of the dark spider's web, in which the soul was caught, quivering and wrapped. This was a religion, this was nature's rule. In a fell chapel of iniquity, to worship a black, pitiless image of power, kneeling one must cross hard-hearted stony courts, a pavement like a floor of evil fate. Each stone was a keen edge of ruthless force, and glued with the chill blood from tortured breasts. The dry gnarled trees stood up like dying men, stiffened into a pose of agony. And from each window peered an ominous priest, chanting Te-Deums for slaughter's crowning grace. Uprooted cities, blasted human homes, burned wreathen bodies, the bombshells massacre. Our enemies are fallen, they sang. All who once stayed our will are smitten and dead. How great we are, how merciful art thou. Thus thought they to reach God's impassive throne, and him command whom all their acts opposed, magnifying their deeds to touch his skies, and make him an accomplice of their crimes. There no relenting pity could have place, but ruthless strength and iron moods had sway, a dateless sovereignty of terror and gloom. This took the figure of a darkened god. Reveled by the wrecked wretchedness he had made, who held in thrall a miserable world, and helpless hearts nailed to unceasing woe, adored the feet that trampled them into mire. It was a world of sorrow and of hate, sorrow with hatred for its lonely joy, hatred with other sorrow as its feast. A bitter rictus curled the suffering mouth. A tragic cruelty saw its meanest chance. Hate was the black archangel of that realm. It glowed, a somber jewel in the heart, burning the soul with its malignant rays, and swallowed in its fell abysm of might. These passions even objects seemed to exude, for mind overflowed into the inanimate, that answered with the wickedness it received. Against their users used malignant powers, heard without hands and strangely, suddenly, slow, appointed as instruments of an unseen doom. Thus thought they to reach God's impassive throne, and Him command whom all their acts opposed, magnifying their deeds to touch His skies, and make Him an accomplice of their crimes. There no relenting pity could have place, but ruthless strength and iron moods had sway, a dateless sovereignty of terror and gloom. This took the figure of a darkened God,